Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the REMINGTOM podcast. When did Skip Bayless turn into Jordan Belfort, people? What is happening over at Fox Sports? I guess happened is going on. Something's going on. There's words on the street right now. Apparently they got Skip, people. I'm afraid to even say what's going on because it's one of those things. You hear the news, there's words on the street, you kind of know the general story, but then it's like when you got to get into the details, it's like, oh, actually, maybe we don't know as much as we thought, but I don't know. There's lawsuits and allegedlys all over the place right now, people. There's also, of course, Tuesday Night Hoops. We can't forget about that. But FS1 is, I don't know if it's going to crumble before our eyes or what is happening, but maybe we can actually, should we do a little Rem and Sam investigates to start? I think if we just search Joy Taylor, I think we'll find what we're looking for. But apparently, over at Fox Sports, and now we're going to get reactions to it as well. Oh, jeez. Let's see. I know Front Office Sports reported on it. Were they one of the first ones? Let's see if we can find that original article, potentially. But there was a bombshell. I guess I don't know exactly if it was lawsuit or what stage of the legal process it is in right now. But there is some sort of, again, illegal going on. Allegedly, we're not making statements. This is just what we're hearing on the streets, people. As of right now, there's, oh, excuses, people. There's some kind of lawsuit. Here we go. It's, of course, workplace misconduct. You hate to see it. And I guess, I don't know. Well, the names are made public, so it is what it is. They're thrown in the article. I guess we can't really go through and figure out what's going on. But yeah, a former Fox Sports hairstylist alleges in a lawsuit that a network executive used his position to, sexually harass women, as well as that Skip Bayless touched her inappropriately and propositioned her for some adult activities, chat. Yeah, apparently Skip Bayless. I mean, let's be honest, people. Was he a 5 out of 10 on the scale? Who knows? You make one too many aggressive anti-LeBron comments, and it's like, okay, what are you hiding, Skip Bayless? What are you really up to? But, Stephen A., I think, has already stepped up and said that, the Skip Bayless that he knew would not do this. So it's good to see that the man has character witnesses. And, of course, at the end of the day, you want to give people the benefit of the doubt to be good people all the way around. But when there are allegations going around, of course you've got to look into them, which is what is happening right now. This was apparently over a sustained period of time as well. Make no mistake, if there's one thing Skip Bayless is, he's definitely consistent, maybe. From 2012 through last August, Fox Sports, FS1, the whole division. There was also this executive mentioned as well, Charlie Dixon. And then, of course, as we all know, shout out Joy Taylor. Just thrown in the side. Pause, but just a drive-by, lawsuit allegation of Joy Taylor in this whole thing. But, yeah, Chad, this is crazy. So she was touched inappropriately at a Hollywood party. I mean, it was just a matter of time, right? It's like these Hollywood companies, it's one at a time. Every year the calendar turns, another one crumbles. I mean, Fox, of course, I don't think this is the first time that Fox Sport, or, just Fox executives in general have necessarily acted out when they're, not clocked in on a shift. But apparently the Fox Sports division was No different, chat. So, yeah, in a party, West Hollywood, when she relayed the encounter to Taylor, the Fox host allegedly told her, "Get over it," according to the suit. So this was like at the party. I mean, that's a crazy scene, chat. That's a crazy scene. We've all been in the room, I think. It gets sticky situations. You don't want your own allegedly's thrown around, but not saying that we've ever done anything, chat. It's just, you get into a party, but I'm thinking, just even in any kind of like going out situation, like this is a crazy night. Was Skip Bayless at this party? But it's Fox executives of Joy Taylor, and the Fox executives are getting handsy, and Joy Taylor's not showing any sympathy. I mean, is this a workplace? Is this high school? Like, is this an episode of Euphoria, chat? What is going on? Stratton Oakmont? Is that the Wolf of Wall Street place? Like Fox Sports, out of control. But let's see. After starting work on Undisputed morning show starring Bayless, the suit alleged he began giving the defendant, is that the right term? We need to watch a little more Judge Judy to get our legal terms down, but I think it's the defendant. But gave her some lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while pressing his body against hers and pressing against her breasts. Skip Bayless. I mean, is this just the classic? This is the classic when you can't really spit game move. You start like on the greetings. This guy's just like getting a little extra time. I mean, the kisses on the cheek, you'd have to go through the film. Like, is it just obvious that like, oh man, why is Skip only, European style on the paws on the hairdresser? Because there's like the episode of Friends where Chandler and Monica, this is before they get discovered, and Chandler and Monica like accidentally kiss or something before Chandler goes to work. And in order to cover it up, he has to start like kissing all the friends. So is Bayless like just kissing everybody on the set now to cover up for the fact that he's crushing on, this hairdresser in secret? Or is this, again, like some obvious, I mean, the lingering hugs, the pressing, I mean, if she's alleging that the pressing against her and stuff like I feel like that's pretty obvious if he's doing it. I feel like you can tell what's going on if Bayless is like, okay, maybe he's trying to make a little bit too much of this situation. But the single mother alleges she repeatedly told Bayless she was not interested in him and did not date at work. I mean, she knows what she's doing. Of course, I think that those are great rules. I think she's got her morals straight, and this is a terrible, terrible thing, of course, if this is all true, and Bayless is making these advances when he should not be. But instead, Bayless became more aggressive over the years, according to the suit. He allegedly offered $1.5 million for a, shall we say an encounter, chat? 1.5. He went into the Shark Tank of adult content and said he's worth 1.5, chat. I mean, that's crazy that Skip values himself that much at 1.5, if anything. But claimed he could change her life as well, too, chat. I mean, Skip, what are we doing? No, Skip. Oh, man. You hate to see it, chat. The suit also claims Bayless accused her of... Oh, Shannon! Somehow Shannon just works his way in. Pause, his co-star on Undisputed. That it really just states that. I guess the claim, it doesn't really say anything about if she was. I don't think it says that she was not accepting Sharp's advances. He was just like, she. It's like, well, Skip, that's not how life works, man. But maybe she was breaking her own rules a little bit. about not dating at work. But, you know, Shannon Sharp, I feel like, is the type of guy that if you're a lady, there's just a lot of rules that you're probably going to break when Shannon Sharp walks through the door. It's just what it is, Chad. It's just what it is. Skip Bayless, on the other hand, you know, on one hand, you feel bad for a guy who crushes on a girl and maybe doesn't end up getting the result that he wants at the end of the day. But at the other end, you don't feel bad for the guy that is making, you know, sleazy, slimy moves behind the scenes, and then, you know, maybe this is actually like all working out according to plan. Like, it's actually like, okay, we actually don't want that guy to get what he wants at the end of the day. And, you know, we want the workplace to be a good workplace as well, too, where people are comfortable to go to work. As the suit alleges, approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance. Skip, stop, you have a wife. Oh, and Bayless just flying in with the off-the-rope comment. I mean, and the fact that, Skip is not doing himself any favors over the course of his career, where you would read this type of a statement and you would go, oh, okay, you know what? I actually think Skip would probably say that. That actually sounds like something that Skip Bayless might say. Skip. Tough, brother. We hate to see it. During her time at Fox, she made multiple complaints to Human Resources Employee Relations Department. Meanwhile, the suit alleges Taylor began insulting her on a personal and professional level after their friendship ended. The suit also alleges that Taylor mocked the English pronunciation of her name, who is of Parisian descent. Her lengthy tenure at Fox Sports and not so thinly veiled references to multiple anonymous witnesses suggest that she may have had the receipts to back up her versions of the events, said Daniel Wallach, a sports attorney and co-host of the podcast Conduct Detrimental. Just as importantly, she contemporaneously raised these issues with coworkers, which in jurors' eyes could boost credibility in these claims. I mean, yeah, Chad, this is just a terrible situation. If, you know, it's a workplace where you can show up almost every day and just guaranteed that you're going to be made uncomfortable, and there's no place that you can go to confide, or even, you know, it's like confide is not even what you want. You want a place to go where you can get solutions, but, you know, it's like, okay, there's no place where you could go to even feel comfortable for even a second. Like, this is all terrible stuff. Stephen A, I think, defended Skip by saying he was cheap, which is hilarious. You know, the fact that he's like, I don't even know Skip to ever spend like $15, which I guess him and Skip have never had a fun night together. Him and Skip have just never ever gone out on a Saturday. He's never been he just doesn't know what like Skip's spending habits are in the club, I guess. And, you know, maybe it's the classic Cosby situation as well, too. What he puts out publicly, you know, in front of everybody, in front of all the boys, in front of, you know, the majority of the people, is the cheap guy who is not going to want to spend anything. But when it comes down to it, Chad, he's like, we really know what he's saving his money for. He thinks that, you know, 1.5 is going to be able to get it done at the end of the day. I mean, 1.5 is crazy, Chad. 1.5 is... I mean, Skip, you could probably, if you're really looking to, you know, get promiscuous, Chad, again, the man is married. We wouldn't necessarily advise him to, you know, go out and betray that trust. But we also, you know, I wouldn't advise him to spend $1.5 million on anything. I don't know what would be, maybe there's a couple cars, Chad. Like, I guess that could get us in trouble if we start, you know, seeing what you could get comparably for $1.5 million. But there's just, I don't know what the market, I mean, I guess houses, Chat. Like, you know, I just don't know what I would even advise the man to spend that money on just in general. So, I don't know. It could feel a little Cosby a situation. If you're actually telling me the man is cheap up front, it's like, okay, maybe that doesn't help his case whatsoever. Who knows? But you hate to see it. You hate to hear that, as time goes on, it's like, as there's breaks in between these types of events, you hope that it's like, okay, maybe did we get the last one? Like, are we good to go? Not that, it's humanity. Not that we're ever, of course. But, we want to get to as good as we can, and we want to make sure that as many people are striving, and we're also, like we're saying, having the process in place to correct mistakes when they happen. It's like greater society. It's like, you don't, you have forces to still, like, enforce things, but, you still want everybody to be a haven at the end of the day. But what was the Joy Taylor stuff as well, too? Just the fact that she was not supportive? Because I think there were some other allegations made as well. Which, again, everybody that knows her came out and defended her and was like, yeah, I mean, she wouldn't, she's always moved with integrity and always moved the right way, and, seems like a great person. So, shout out Joy Taylor. We fully support Joy Taylor. Not to say, of course, that we don't support, other parties involved. We support, I guess, the, justice at the end of the day. Can we get a couple of booms from the Rizzler if there's some big justice at the end of the day? But, like we're saying, if there's character witnesses saying that there's good people all the way around, we want to give good people the benefit of the doubt. So, Joy Taylor, if make no mistake, Joy Taylor, if you ever need a platform to maybe, have a conversation, an intelligent, mature conversation with a couple of people who I feel like could at least show empathy and could at least see, multiple sides of a story. We're here for you, Joy Taylor. Unless, of course, it comes out that things get really, really bad. Then, like we're saying, we'll side with truth, justice, and the American way at the end of the day. But as of right now, it's all allegedly. It's all, this person says this person's character is this, and, this person is, there's other things maybe being said. And I think at the end of the day, we know that I think the workplace is, if you're telling us that the workplace at Fox Sports was maybe a mess, we're not going to necessarily disagree with you there. If there's people that want to defend individual characters named and say, hey, maybe they weren't as involved as you're saying, like we're saying, we're also willing to listen to that as well, too. Unfortunately, nobody has come to the defense of the executive, And wait, I could be wrong about that. I guess I'd have to go back and listen to Stephen A's thing. I don't know if Stephen A was like, hey, also, and Charlie Dixon is a good guy. But if I recall, chat, that was not said. I don't know if Coward is like, and not to just start, saying these guys aren't defending their boss, but, I don't think anybody's come out and said, like, hey, Charlie Dixon, I have your back, buddy. Seems like, like we're saying, there's obviously some blatant things going on in a Hollywood workplace to be fixed. I think that's obvious as well. But we're also, of course, like we're saying, willing to be open to the fact that maybe some individual people could potentially also be more in the right as well, too. But, it's a terrible thing, Chad. It's like where else could she even go, A worker. It's like in Hollywood, can you even go to another place and just say, oh, well, I guess I'm going to go get another job somewhere else? Like, obviously not to, well, I guess, we could only take the comments so far. We're live, chat. We're going to just have to censor ourselves on the fly. But, it's like there's places where maybe a guy like Skip is not stopping at just propositioning, It's like we've seen from these reports in the past, and not just Fox as well, too. People from all over the industry. Like, she can't even go work at, like, a harmless place like Nickelodeon. Like, all these places are a disaster, chat. There's just nowhere to turn in Hollywood at least, who knows 2025 going forward if things clean up. Odds are it's probably not. But anyways, hopefully all works out well, chat. Hopefully, hopefully for Joy Taylor's sake, she's not hosting the show with us, because, who knows, chat, unless we're able to catch up to Joy Taylor at some point. Is there a blueprint that's been laid out? Who knows? But, if you see Joy Taylor on the Rem and Sam pod, just know that maybe things did not go according to plan. But hopefully all gets resolved. Hopefully all works out. Like we're saying, at the end of the day, what's right should win out. So if people have to go down, pause, then, true justice in the American way, chat. But, Skip is one of those guys, like, as much as, I feel like you disagree, and as much as he's one of those guys that is just on the time. He's just a character. He's a villain on the timeline, chat. It's just what it is. He's always been a villain on TV and in social media and all this stuff. And more, and again, from a public standpoint, more from a sports take angle, in what was at the end of the day seemingly, a harmless way, where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, he's just railing against LeBron's basketball talent and the Cowboys. Like, this is actually what you want maybe like a crazy guy to be doing. But, as much as he is a villain on the timeline, chat, like, villains can be characters that you get drawn to. And make no mistake, like, Skip Bayless is no, Heath. He was never like a Heath Ledger Joker level villain, or, Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men in terms of the sports takes level. Like, I think that was always the problem with his sports take villainry sometimes was, there was never, or not never, but sometimes there was like a lack of cleverness to it, where it felt like it's like, okay, are these just personal agendas? Like, you're just railing against the athletes? Like Kellerman, on the other hand, was it Kellerman that replaced him directly? Or at least as like the next big full-time guy? I think it went from, is it Skip to Kellerman, and then just to kind of like this rotating cast that they have now? But when Kellerman went on, Kellerman's like crazy takes are just crazy and way out there, and it's like sometimes he's just so obviously taking the other side of the debate to be on the debate that it would just be more comical than it would be like enraging. I mean, like the Iguodala thing, chat, it's iconic. It's funny. It's hilarious. We all love Kellerman for the I would rather have Iguodala, but it's like so obvious. We know that Stephen A is going to walk into that point. He's going to say Steph Curry. It's obvious that you have to take Steph Curry's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. Like, of course you're taking Steph Curry with the alien invasions. If the drones show back up, chat, make no mistake, we're not picking Iguodala. We're picking Steph Curry in a three-point shootout against the aliens. It's just what it is. But everybody's just going to nod their head for 30 seconds and go, yep, nope, we'd all take Steph Curry 100%. Like, Kellerman gets out there, he commits to the bit, and he makes you think that he might actually truly in his heart want Iguodala queuing up that three-pointer. Like, maybe Kellerman is actually that kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, Kellerman's not out there feeling like he would have, the personal attackingness of the players in the way that maybe Skip kind of would at some time. And then, especially with the way he treated Shannon as well, too, on Undisputed, which, you could definitely look at some angles of that, and I'm sure, make no mistake, like, Skip was not always in the right with the way he was talking there. But you also think about him making that jump from First Take, where it feels like, I'm sure for him, he felt like First Take was a co-show. It was Stephen A and Skip Bayless, and it was the powerhouse of their dynamic sort of debating against each other, and not necessarily kind of what it ultimately turned out to be and evolved into, which was, the personality of Stephen A kind of carrying the show. And to be honest, like, in the moment and at the time, like, that was the dynamic of the show. The show was great because Stephen A. and Skip were such good debaters and were able to, the back and forth dynamic between those guys was so strong, that it, it was able to elevate that show to the place that it was. And it's, a credit to Stephen A. that he really, I mean, let's be honest, the man stepped his game up in a way. And not, of course, that the man was not elite in the sports journalism take sphere before Skip and him split up on the show. But once it was down to like, okay, it's going to be the personality of Stephen A., like he's totally delivered on everything. And that show has, ratings wise, managed to stay on top this entire time. And it turned out that, like we're saying, Skip kind of was that villain character, but he's over on FS1, he's over on Undisputed, he's trying to compete, and he's trying to be the personality on the show. So you bring on Shannon as, of course, your counterpart, but then it turns out that Shannon is the bigger star on the show, and I'm sure Skip was probably just never able to accept the fact that Shannon was actually the bigger star. So there's these moments where, you're feeling like Skip is trying to, it is what it is. In a sense, he's trying to like punk him on the show, because I feel like he's trying to be like, okay, no, I'm still the bigger guy at the end of the day. But it's like, okay, once Shannon goes to Nightcap and goes to YouTube and starts doing his own thing, you see the powerhouse star. I mean, we've seen the powerhouse that he is in multiple ways on YouTube. But, in terms of the sports takes, chat, we've seen the powerhouse that he's been able to become as well. So, like we're saying, is Skip a guy that you could see? I mean, you never want to throw allegations out on a guy and just go, oh yeah, of course he did it. But, we're just saying that, even though the man is been a villain on the timeline, you don't want to see these type of things happen. You don't want to see, for everything of it, for the fact that it means that, maybe the legacy of a guy that, again, in some ways is endearing to us is, tainted in these bad ways. But then, of course, for the effects as well, too, that it causes, like we're saying, now there's just whole workplaces in this environment, and then there's individual people as well, too, lives being affected. And like we're saying, this poor lady is single mother. She's got a son. I mean, like we're saying, she's in the industry. Where else is she even going to turn to for a job? Even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, to try to go, well, maybe I'll just go do hair and makeup on this show somewhere else and try to figure out, of course we know that life is just not that simple, chat. And, you got to show up to work every day in this environment. Like you're saying, almost just, it gets to the point where you just know that he's not going to stop either as well, too. So tough to see, chat. You hate to see any time, of course, names of the characters in your lives get brought up. It's like, oh, gut punch. But we will see what happens. Of course, it's all allegedly. It's all in court. It will all need to be worked out. Maybe they'll just be, I'm sure just maybe a settlement. Who knows? It all gets washed away. You want the workplace to be cleaned up, and you want the environments to be better going forward, and you want the, we'll say at this point, allegedly affected parties, because it's all allegedly at this point. Not to diminish, again, the impact, but just because that's where it's at in the status. But, you don't want the parties as well, too, you want them to get back to a place where they either feel like equal, or they can get back on track, or just, however you can get them back going in the right direction. You want to make that as right as possible. But, yeah, hopefully it just all gets resolved in the right way. But make no mistake, Joy Taylor, we will take an interview if you need a job at some point down the line. But we do have some Tuesday Night NBA hoops that we still have to cover, chat. There's still some fun little some fun basketball games we got going on. We got Mavs Lakers in the background. No Kyrie, no Luka Doncic. Somehow the Mavs are just hanging in there. The Lakers just, I guess, they know what to do for the league. They know that people might be eager to tune out. They're waiting for this game to be a blowout. There's, again, the lack of the stars for the Dallas Mavericks, but The Lakers are like, no, we'll let the Mavs hang around. We'll keep it close. The diehards got to stay intrigued. But also a fun little Hornets-Suns matchup. The Suns have started bringing Bradley Beal off the bench as well, too. They've put Ryan Dunn into the starting lineup, trying to insert a little bit more defense. Especially if you start, getting Devin Booker back. We know that, the Booker Durant combo is a high-powered offensive combo on itself. And the thing is, it's not like Beal, I don't think, is... he is, of course, getting sent to the bench because of his play and how that is fitting with the starting lineup in certain minutes. Like saying that you need to insert the defense with Ryan Dunn if the offense is going to be fine with Durant and Booker. But Beal has been playing decent offensively as well, too, Chad. Now, inserting Ryan Dunn for the defense. The defense has been pretty disastrous for Beal. I'm not going to lie. The man is just not... It's 4-on-5 on defense, Chad. It's just what it is. But offensively, the numbers have kind of turned around. So $50 million for, 20... Oh, $50 million for 18 points a game? It's not bad, Chad. You'll take it. But again, look at these numbers. Oh, man, he's not even playing as good as he played last year. Last year, 51-43 at 18 a game. Wow. He was actually better offensively last year and probably even worse defensively this year. But the numbers still are pretty good. Almost 49% from the field, almost 40% from three. So while he's not, this is pushing pretty elite, Chad. Again, with the defense and with the volume, we understand that Beal's not actually turning in an elite season, but that is elite efficiency. 51, 43, 81%. He's down to 77% as well, too, from the free throw line. And really only making about one trip a game. But let's see. Maybe... Did he take a dive as of recently? Let's see. Okay, he did have, a couple of down games there where they moved him to the bench. But let's see this stretch here, chat. He was cooking a little bit. He had some games. That Golden State game he was balling. 49, 45, 21 a game over this 6-game stretch. Let's throw maybe these 6 more. 12 games, 20 points a game. Again, 50% from the field, 39% from 3. So he's hovering in the same general range where he was at last year. But again, just look at the plus minus in some of these games, chat. Lose by 10, Beal minus 23. Again, lose by 10, Beal's minus 24. And in these games as well, too. He's also not shooting the ball well. But where's the one? Yeah, that Golden State game, lost by 4. Beal, 28 points. The stats offensively pretty good. Minus 10 in that game. So I guess bringing him off the bench, finally he turns out a positive number. And of course, plus minus isn't everything. Look at this stretch right here, chat, where it's just minus 17 and a 9-point loss. Minus 15 and an 8-point loss. Or minus 18 and a 27-point loss. Plus 12 and a 10-point win, balling out against Denver. But I think you need his offensive boost with the second unit. I liked the move by Budenholzer. And we all know that, you can just go to Beal and be like, hey, Beal, you're going to be in the lineup at the end of the game, brother. You're going to be on the court in the big minutes if, of course, performance is, I think, expected for all the guys, even though we just kind of guarantee it with the best players. That's just kind of assumed. But, with Beal, assuming that it's all good there offensively and it's not just bricks, he's going to be out there in that final lineup. But let's see what he's actually doing tonight. Is he continuing his good stretch off the bench? 15 minutes. He is absolutely not, chat. Beal, 1 for 7. Maybe against Charlotte, he's just feeling like he doesn't need to perform tonight, chat. Again, he does have $50 million in the bank, regardless of how he performs. So that's always a nice a nice little thing to have in the back of your mind. But LaMelo's been back the last couple of games as well too. Brandon Miller's looked pretty good tonight. Yeah, he's got 17, 7 for 14. LaMelo 1 for 9 for 3. So at least Beal can play in a game against LaMelo because they're going to cancel each other out from three-pointers. Potential. I mean, they'll cancel each other out either way, I feel like. I feel like they're both kind of due to like be cooking on the same night, and then they'll both just fall off and not perform on the same night. If this was somehow a finals matchup, if, you know, designated survivor situation, we got down to Phoenix versus Charlotte, it would be game one. It would be like whichever game LaMelo and Beal, one of them is able to perform, the other one's not. It would be that would be the swing performance for the finals for sure. But could we get like a Brandon Miller Finals MVP if that happened? Grant Williams getting in the mix, maybe? Miocic? Miller is, when he's out there, Chad, I guess Bridges is leading him tonight. And he had that stretch where he was leading him without LaMelo and Miller, so maybe that's going to translate favorably. Who knows, Chad? Martin's out there as well with Richards, Plumlee, Jones. And it's not like the Phoenix Suns couldn't have some depth. Obviously, they're going to struggle at the center position with kind of just having to bounce back and forth between Nurkic and Plumlee. But offensively, that can be... defensively, Chad, that is going to be tough in the playoffs. That's going to be hard to deal with. Make no mistake. Yikes, that might be brutal. But, again, you know, with Iguodala and Dunn as well, like it is a combination of Beal, like, you know, maybe there's some inconsistency offensively. The defense, like we're saying, is he's a bit of a sieve. But it's not like Dunn hasn't performed well enough to earn upgraded minutes as well. He has been opposite of Beal. You know, he has been elite defensively. And the shooting has been there enough to where you go, okay, he's not a disaster every night. You know, if Beal's going to be 1 for 7, like, make no mistake, Ryan Dunn, he might make the same amount of threes as Beal, and it'll be more beneficial because he'll be 1 for 2, and Beal will just be like 1 for 7. But Iguodala's a nice piece as well, too. You know, Allen, Morris, Okogie. Like, we know that wing kind of shooting depth. Like, I still want to believe the Suns are a feisty team, but, I mean, they're down 5 right now to the Hornets, chat. So, if they're feisty to the Hornets, probably not the position you want to be in with Beal, Durant, and Booker. Of course, the Hornets, maybe they're a next-generation team. Young stars. It's a budding contender, chat. You never know. We know they're an offensive, you know, they can have offensive firepower, and they're playing at home tonight, but still. I mean, you got to make no mistake. You got to beat the Hornets, chat. If you're going to be a competitive team, you got to beat the Hornets. LaMelo kind of bodying Booker to the rim. Is he going to mention that in the club tonight? What is the club scene like in Charlotte? I mean, it's a decent-sized city. You know, I'm sure a couple million people. What's that Charlotte population? How many million we talking, chat? Are we in the... Whoa, not even a million. 911K. The capital city... I don't think the capital city of Iowa is quite... Is it that big, chat? 214, yikes. Our pathetic state, chat. It's just what it is. Shout out, not pathetic. We love it. Vital, of course, the agriculture, vital to the success of the country. The backbone of America, chat. We all know. But in terms of a scene, 214 is not going to get you much. But 9/11, never forget. But in terms of a population, I'm sure they have a decent little corner of town you can go to, have a nice night. But LaMelo versus Booker, that's a good in the Maybe we shouldn't make jokes about that, chat, after what we just talked about. But again, consensually, in a consensual situation. Oh, LaMelo's cooking right now. Back-to-back threes. I guess with the and one as well too. I don't even know. This could just be a full-on LaMelo run. He's got 13 in the quarter, 23 for the game now. Taking over. And like we're saying, him and Beal, the swing players. And it's been LaMelo heating up. Oh, Booker's going to match him. Yeah, Booker's not going to let another attractive young baller try to outduel him. Booker's got 34 tonight, chat. A vintage Booker. Oh, who just responded with a 3? Nick Smith. A Nick Smith appearance tonight. You love to see it. The fact that Nick Smith is cooking might say something for the Suns defense. 1 for 4. Okay, that was his first 3. 11 minutes, though, for Nick Smith. Shout out, getting those Seth Curry minutes. You hate to see it. Our guy, Seth Curry. Seth Curry, can we get you on the Spurs? Can the Spurs trade for Seth Curry? I don't even know if that would even help his minutes. And, with just moving around veteran guys, is it maybe Seth Curry would only want to uproot the family for like a title chance? And especially the hometown as well, too. What am I saying? The Currys, Charlotte? Like, that's absolutely why Seth is on this team, right? To be in the area. But, I mean, come on. Play with Wemby. Help out the lineup. Be a veteran. We have Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes. There's a nice mix of, some professionals that you can hang out with, but the young talent, it's going to energize the team. It's going to make us fun to play with. I think Seth Curry would be a big addition to the Spurs. Big addition to the locker room. I think he'd really help out. I don't know, do we even have to trade for him? I'd hate to say just waive the guy. But again, I'm saying it because I'm hoping to sign him right again to a contract and get the money right back in the pocket. So I don't think at the end of the day I'm trying to take food off the table. Like, I'm just trying to get the man on my favorite team so I can get a 30 Curry. I think is Champagnie 30 right now? Am I a bad fan for not knowing? Oh, it's not even Justin, chat. It's Julian. Justin, shout out on the Wizards. I just assumed Julian would be the first Jay Champagnie that would pop up, but apparently not. So yeah, he would have to take 30 from Champagnie. But Champagnie, 55 in Toronto? What was he in college at St. John's? Can we get a Champagnie college number? Maybe he goes back to his college number. But I would love to get a 30 Spurs Curry jersey and it not be Steph Curry, for it to be Seth Curry. Number 11. I think number 11 might also be taken on the Spurs. Let's double check. Is it not? I don't think it is. Number 11 is free, so Champagnie could go back to number 11, give Seth Curry number 30. We'll start the GoFundMe. The Rem and Sam community, at least maybe the Spurs fans portions of it. The Spurs fans that really love Seth Curry and want to see Seth Curry on the Spurs, that portion of the Rem and Sam community, which might actually just be myself, we'll fund the jersey swap. I don't know how we'll do it, but if we need to slide Champagnie a little Venmo for that 30 jersey, just let us know and we'll try to help you out the best we can. Make no mistake. We'll do whatever we can to get Seth Curry on the Spurs. Try to free him from this Hornets team. Get him in the playoff mix. Get him back into some competitive basketball. Make no mistake, the Spurs are going to be a playoff team this year. And we free up those Nick Smith minutes. Get Nick Smith in there. Saloon's going to end up be playing more. It's a young guy team. The young guy takeover is happening. Oh, and we forgot the Suns have Bol Bol as well. So we know that I mean, maybe they're not struggling at the center position, chap. I mean, they keep him around. That's the thing. They keep Bol around. They could, like, legitimately, and I'm not suggesting that they should. Again, I love Bol. I would love to see Bol keep his job, and I would actually love to see, we all want to see Bol play more. Who doesn't love watching Bol? Let's get Bol on the Spurs. Holy cow. I mean, Seth Curry and Bol. I mean, do we just need to go to the trade machine right now and figure out how to get that little 3-teamer worked out? But I'm just saying that they could legitimately, like, use that roster spot for another center if they needed to, but they don't do it. I'm saying that as a credit to Bol. The man earns his spot on the roster, even though he doesn't play. Like, it's a team that's trying to win. It's not a team that I think is just, make no mistake, maybe it is. Maybe Ishbia is just like, do we just want to have Bol? Like, would they just go out and get Taco Fall and just go, well, I guess we just needed some size instead of the floor spacing? But, like, they could actually, like, we're saying Paul Reed was on the market a while ago. Like, they could have cut Bol and signed Paul Reed if they really wanted to, but they didn't. Is that Beal with just an aggressive foul in transition? I mean, you want to make him earn his I guess on Saloon, shooting some free throws, that's not the worst thing in the world. 0 for 0 tonight. He's got to be low 70s, right, chat? Plus a guard on a forward. You know, is he going to challenge him? 65%. Okay, maybe a good foul by Beal. Oh. Whoa, chat. Spoiler alert. Maybe a decent foul by Bradley Beal, sending Saloon to the line. Who knows? Maybe it'll work out. I guess it's only the third quarter, chat. It feels like the end of this quarter's got a little intensity to it. A little urgency, I should say. And I guess Beal just kind of unaware of where Saloon was even at, colliding with him. Shout out to Beal, man. That's the most he's tried on defense. Unfortunately, it resulted in one of the sloppier fouls you'll see, but again, it's just what it is. He's trying his best. The man's fighting out there. What's he at tonight? Only his second foul of the game in the third quarter. That's yeah, Beal. High IQ play from our guy Beal. High IQ foul for sure. Was there another game going on? Yeah, halftime at this Lakers Dallas game. Who is keeping him in the game? Hardy's been out there with the ball a lot. Pause. But yeah, 2 points for Hardy. Clay, a little vintage Clay tonight. I guess, is this a little like Clay revenge game? Clay kind of prove himself, you know, were the Lakers maybe in the mix? Could he have gone? I'd have to go back and remember that whole Clay offseason timeline, but there was definitely Clay to the Lakers talk for sure. And I mean, if the Lakers had thought Klay Thompson was a guy that they wanted to bring in, like if that had all lined up, I'm pretty sure that they would have made that move and Klay Thompson would have preferred to go to the Lakers, but he ended up in Dallas. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just chose Dallas straight up over the Lakers. I don't remember exactly. But maybe this is a little like chip on the shoulder game for Klay. And Dinwiddie was getting to the rim right away. Pause. Had a couple of early layups right away. Only 1 for 3, though, for the rest of the half. Davis with a 9 and 7. 3 for 10 for Davis, yeah. So maybe he'll turn it around in the second half, chat. I'm sure Davis getting cooking. It's not the worst bet in the world. I wonder what the live odds. Can we get some live odds on some Davis player performance props, chat? Can we take advantage of the slow start? Can we earn some money on a potential Anthony Davis explosive second half? Pause. Let's see. Player points. Anthony Davis, 20 plus, minus 550, minus 105 to get to 25. Oh, I guess he is at 12, even though he's 3 for 10. Is he getting to the free throw line? What's that free throw look like? 6 for 7 in the first half. Yeah, he's pacing for 14, chat. 4-1 to get to 30. So if he had 15 and 15, so yeah, he would need 18 in the second half, chat. Down 6, or down 8, sorry, early. 60 to 52 is the score. Mavs are up. Grimes, 19-1 to get to 30 points. He's the leader for the Mavs. Is he leading them in scoring right now? He is. Shout out, Grimes, 14. Off the bench. The shots are going up. Grimes says Luka's not in. Kyrie's not in. It's my time to shine. -2, though, with the 14 points. Yikes. Grimes, let's get a stop. How's LeBron doing? LeBron -15. Maybe we'll just not look at that. LeBron, year 20. Defense doesn't matter for LeBron. The man has earned it. Has he? At what point do you go from earning not playing defense to going, okay, this is actually becoming a bit of an issue? Like, I don't know what the actual workplace, comparison. I don't know what the restaurant comparison is, chat. But if it's like, okay, this great chef, you've won some awards, you've put the menu's been great for years. We're really going to trust you with some of these experimental items. At what point do the brains... the problem is, I don't know if there's a food I could suggest that would be too crazy. I mean, I'm sure I could come up with some options that, maybe some the simple palated taste bud section of the Rem and Sam community. There might be some people that are like, oh, sushi, like just sushi in general, but then maybe there's certain types where it's like octopus or eel or, I'm sure there's somebody in the chat that's like just straight up like anti, veggie or whatever. Just, I'm not saying the picky eater. I'm saying exquisite foods. But at this point, chat, I think it's all, maybe you start getting into like some of the brains and eyes. And, obviously, chat, I'm not saying that I'm down to just start cooking every kind of animal. But what I'm saying is, the idea of serving most foods, I mean, it seems like, okay, at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same thing. But, at what point does the chef, like, start cooking too crazy where it's like, okay, maybe just scale it back and maybe you're not going to be responsible for the developmental part of the menu anymore? Just the cooking? LeBron, you just help with the offensive parts, but is the defense becoming too much of an issue? Down 12, chat. A third quarter run by the Mavs. JJ Redick was not in there cooking at halftime. Jason Kidd just out-schemed JJ Redick for the first couple minutes. Who would have thought the Hall of Fame point guard would maybe be the better coach than the three-point shooter rule guy? I just don't know. I know that's not how you always judge coaches straight up. I know it's basketball, IQ, and drawing up plays and all that stuff is, there's more that goes into it than just how good of a basketball player was the guy. But I mean, again, if we're talking basketball IQ, chat, was Jason Kidd at the top of the league when he was playing? I think he was. I think Jason Kidd, it's safe to say, was one of the smarter basketball players of maybe not his time, maybe of all time as well, too. Just an all-time great playmaker. And we know JJ Redick's IQ. We're not questioning Redick's IQ. It is off the charts. It's way higher than ours. It's, make no mistake, JJ Redick, way higher than we'll ever be, chat. It's just what it is. But, I mean, Kidd, he had the momentum. He had the run. His team's cooking right now. Borregos, he's still cooking. Budenholzer. Let's see, chat. End of the third. The Hornets are up 5. Yeah, Booker with 34. Durant with 21. Oh, boy, chat. And it's just still not enough. Booker, he might be the... Who is the all-time leader in, like, 30-point losses, chat? I mean, Booker's had some good winning seasons. Obviously, they made a final, so I feel like Booker wouldn't be top of that list. Can we do that? Do that search? That might be a little in-depth. Oh, we might have to log in, chat. Maybe we'll get that set up later. But Timberwolves versus Pelicans going as well right now. Edwards is having a game. Murray is having a game too on the other side. Oh, a Zion sighting tonight, chat. Whoa, Zion, 11 minutes. How many points does he have? I'm not seeing too many high numbers. 6 points? 6, 3, and 3. 1 steal. So, again, it is 11 minutes. 3 for 5. I mean, maybe his per 36 is going to look a lot better. But at least he's out there, chat. You'll love to see it. Zion, back on the court. Shout out. Nobody can stop Edwards, though. That game is in the second quarter. Okay, so we'll get to that game after Hornets versus Suns, chat. And the Rockets currently annihilating the Wizards. Our nightly who is just blowing out the Wizards pause. Yikes, chat. Whoa. That's crazy. But it's just what it is. The Wizards. They're the pass-around team of the league. Yikes, chat. We were about to compare him to a certain person, but that might have been too far. So we'll just leave it be. Oh, LeBron with another dunk. LeBron's put up a couple of dunks that might be on the dunk score tonight. Shout out to dunk score. I think, was it maybe Missy or Gafford or somebody? Some center like that was leading on dunk score for the season. Still don't really know what it measures, but it's out there. It's fun to look at. And again, not to just turn this into a what is JJ Redick doing session, but I mean, make no mistake, ever since Sam has thrown his question marks at Max Christie, we've definitely been looking at him with the critical eye. And JJ Redick's definitely committing to Max Christie in the lineup. Make no mistake. Not to say that, I mean, like we said when Sam was, throwing those question marks out there, I see the offensive upside. I see him as a shooter and a floor spacer, and I can see and I mean, the man competes on defense as well, too. I can see the value that he can add to the lineup as a playmaker floor spacer, but I don't know if the floor spacing is happening, Chad. What is he at so far for, and, he's played a couple of years as well, too. Maybe, is it his second? Is it his third? Okay, it's his third season. He is 37% for the year. Okay, so he's getting up to a respectable number. 45% from the field. 88 from the free throw line. So, I mean, that stroke is pure. But, I mean, I think you would need, and again, for where he's at defensively, you'd probably need the offensive output to be a little bit higher, a little bit more automatic. But maybe it is a credit to Reddit. A credit to Reddit, chat? Did we get that right? Maybe it's a credit to JJ as a coach that he's just going to commit to the bit. And at the end of the day, they are still, a top 6 team in the Western Conference at this point. They're still out of the play-in game. That would be, I think, the ultimate goal. Getting that 4 seed, 3 seed maybe even, but getting that 4 seed and having at least home court in 1 playoff series, maybe 2, but, at least 1 playoff series would be like a super, I think, nice thing for this Lakers team to have with some of the veterans for LeBron. But, at the end of the day, getting into that top 6, avoiding the play-in, getting that automatic playoff berth would be the baseline ideal level season. So at least you're accomplishing that. If you're able to continue to accomplish that with Christie in the lineup, it's one of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then we can just, in the playoffs, strip it down to what we need to. But, we'll see, chat. We'll see. I guess I'm not totally giving up faith on Max Christie yet. He airballed a 3 a little bit earlier, and he made me want to. But I'm still going to hold out hope. That 37% is at least still a respectable number. I thought maybe he was going to be in the low 30s. So you could look at that and go, okay, a 3-point shooter, even if he's in his developmental stage, if he's still in that serviceable amount, you're still at least holding out hope, of course. And you can bring Finney Smith off the bench. Bradley Beal, maybe he's in the lineup at the end of the game over Max Christie, of course. Bringing your veterans toward the end. But He's definitely, I mean, he's definitely giving him a chance, chat. He's seeing what he has. And LeBron, the pass to Max Christie's side goes out of bounds. Christie not able to control it. I think, unfortunately, that might go down as a turnover for Braun, but he's going to make sure Christie gets the scowl. Maybe the stat keeper? Whoa! The stat keeper will, the stat keeper is crazy. Yikes. The stat keeper, the statistics, the analytics guy. Sometimes it feels like the analytics guy is also a stat keeper, but they do a good job. And it feels like, you know, in the era of AI and this AI takeover, and as it just continues to get implemented into all these things, I mean, it feels like AI stat tracking would just be the automatic way to go. And maybe it is fully there. I mean, not to say that I make no mistake, chat. I love the nostalgia of an old school stat keeper on the sideline. And for jobs as well too. Like, make no mistake, I'm not going to be the guy sitting up here going, we should have the robots take over the stat keepers. But I'm just saying that would feel like a really easy one to do. It would feel like it would be a high draft pick on like what would be the first jobs to go. Feels like stat keeper at an NBA game might be up on that list. Maybe security guard as well too. I don't know, chat. Some of this stuff's getting a little sketchy, but feels like they could track some rebounds, track some assists. Now, I'm not saying it's even in the stage. Maybe it hasn't taken over as of right. I mean, it hasn't taken over as of right now because it's not good enough. Make no mistake. If it was, they would do it. It still would probably maybe be a little sketched out on the assists. You would still need a person to go back through and, you know, comb over the stats. You'd still have your fact checkers. You know, we get to the point we're really screwed when we have AI keeping the stats and then also AI fact checking the stats, is when we're like, okay, I guess humans can really just turn into Wall-E and just recline back in your chair. But you know, they would still at this point, I think, need somebody to verify that AI. We don't trust it. It is sorry AI. It's not that we don't trust you. Maybe in the long term. I mean, obviously some people don't, but it's just, of course, you're not developed. Pause to the point. AI is still in adolescence. Yikes. But might still need a second sort of look to keep track of the stats. But I mean, we're already using AI for some stats and the advanced stats and the tracking. I guess in a lot of the tracking data was being implemented before it was starting to be labeled maybe like AI, and maybe because that's the thing as well too. Like some of the artificial intelligence has been like a rebranding of some stuff. Like there definitely have been, you know, like on like the graphic design front, for example, like there definitely been, you know, with the image and video, like all the generation stuff that's out there, like, you know, there's definitely been like AI implemented in, but some of it too was, especially in the initial stages, it's like, okay, you're just actually just rebranding your feature. You're just relabeling this feature as an AI feature. It's not really any different, you know? But, you know, so like some of the stat tracking data might have been like artificial intelligence and some of that Amazon early web service day stuff. Like they weren't calling it AI, but, you know, it's like we've been using these models and like stats have been being tracked. So I'm sure they could hand the responsibility over to a robot and just go, you know, how many points did Braun score tonight? But again, I love the old school stat keeper. You're not going to tell me to get rid of it. You know, AI referee, you know, it's just fun. It's just fun to see people out there as well too. Like at the end of the day, I don't want to see robots out there, you know? And an entertainment venue is a lot different than, you know, maybe some production level, the behind the scenes businesses where, you know, people aren't watching the jobs take place. Again, I'm not campaigning for it. I'm just saying that would go out of mind anyways. But, you know, that's the thing, like with AI movies where people saying like Hollywood's in trouble. Like I get it. Like I'm not saying I'm not down to watch an animated movie at the end of the day, but I'm not going to watch all animated movies, you know? I don't watch like we do have the choice, chat. Like if I wanted to watch, and I mean you could even make the case as well too. Like if you had to choose, the high quality animated, anime, cartoon, however you want to label it, like the high value non real stuff, you could say it's just as good and just as quality as the live action stuff that's been made. The best live action movie of all time, if you want to start putting Goodfellas and The Wizard of Oz up against whatever, sort of anime or Into the Spider-Verse or Up or whatever. Like, you can make the cases. Like, if you wanted to live your life, and live your life, but live your life watching fully animated stuff, and make no mistake, pretty soon you're going to be able to live with a wife that's fully animated as well. But, if you wanted to live your life watching fully animated and, quote unquote, like fully generated stuff, and again, that, from a practical standpoint, a lot of that stuff is still made with the human, there's still a lot more human input where you go, AI is going to take out a lot of that human input. I get that. But, just in terms of it taking out the Hollywood as a whole, and I've seen like some AI generated movies, and it's like, oh, is there going to be a use? Like, where are actors going to go? Are we even going to, is Chalamet even going to be in a movie by the time he has gray hair? Is AI just going to, is it just going to be AI Chalamet? Or is it going to be real Timothy Chalamet? But you could like live your whole life as of right now, watching fully animated stuff and getting a full spectrum of not just high quality kids stuff, quote unquote, like Up, but Up's an adult movie. There's a lot of there's a lot, you're going to get the funny shows as well too, like The Simpsons and Family Guy and all that stuff. Like you could watch solely generated things for entertainment, but you know what? People still gravitate toward watching stuff. Like people still go make no mistake, chat, in lots of ways, but just in terms of Hollywood movies, PG, we're just sticking to the PG-13s and the R's and the the normal movies, but people still want to watch people, chat. I still want to see Chris Tucker be funny. I don't care if AI, if there's enough, and that's what it is at the end of the day. Like Chris Tucker has been funny enough, long enough now, and Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and all these guys, that AI is just going to go in and remix all their jokes and steal it and try to make that entertainment for the next 50 years. Like I see where it's going to disrupt the industry in a major way, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to need Jackie Chan doing stunts. I'm still going to need Tom Cruise hanging out of the helicopter. I'm still going to need Timothy Chalamet strumming the guitar being Bob Dylan, I need Michael B. Jordan shirtless, chat. I don't want AI Michael. I don't want an AI robot. Chris Evans running around without his shirt off. Make no mistake, I want to know that Chris Hemsworth actually got jacked up to play Thor. I want to know that Christian Bale is really going from super skinny to super jacked. I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, chat, make no mistake, Hollywood has divulged into being about as bad of an industry in as many ways as possible as you can get. Make no mistake. Should we just start saying stuff like that live? We're never going to get a job on Hollywood, chat. So it doesn't even matter, because like we're saying, AI is going to take over Hollywood by the time we get there anyways. But the idea of a movie, and even the idea of like, giving out an award for the best movie at the end of the year, like those are all fun ideas, and the idea that they involve like actual people as well too is fun. Like we're saying, where it maybe has divulged into is not ideal in a lot of ways, and it's not even to like the immoral stuff as well too about it. It's just maybe how elevated some of it can potentially get, and so I guess it's just like the self-righteousness of it sometime as well too. But actors are not going to go away, chat. Like real movies cut to 10 years when there's just like, how's anybody going to get a role when you can just keep pumping out these AI? Because even like the ability, the speed at which you're going to be able to put together a high quality production using the AI generation stuff is going to be impressive as well too. But like we're saying, at the end of the day, like you like knowing that, you know, Leo. It's like the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio or Da Vinci, who was the painter, chat? Which was the guy who painted the Mona Lisa? Was that Brad Pitt? I don't even know, but it's like, you know, somebody made a piece of art that is still a magnificent painting even today. Like, is an AI creation gonna live on like that, chat? Is it just gonna be, you know, are we gonna, like how is that even special? Like in an art gallery in 500 years, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, and I guess this one was Chat GPT, but this one was Dolly. You know, is that how they're gonna do? Like the artists are just gonna be whatever Jet AI model, you know, created the art. Like, you know, there's still talented people, Chad. There's still gonna be funny people. There's still gonna be people crazy enough to, you know, ride a motorcycle off a ramp over a cliff and parachute down. There's still gonna be a guy nerdy enough to make movies about time moving both forward and backwards in different directions. And make no mistake, you know, there's gonna be old directors like Francis Ford Coppola spending too much money to make bad movies. It's just gonna exist for the rest of time, chat. Maybe Hollywood will take out the Francis Ford Coppola, the megaopolises. Maybe instead of giving him a, you know, $300,000 million to do a budget for a movie that it's like, okay, maybe this, well, what's the track record of this guy recently? Maybe just go, hey, let's just give him the AI version of Metropolitanopolis, and then maybe if it hits, we'll give him the live action version. But that was something I was seeing with some of the AI models as well too, was the ability to like storyboard and kind of lay out the vision for a live action movie. That is a real cool use of it as well, where, you know, I just think of like the storyboard technology and, you know, drawing out all the little scenes or whatever. And yeah, you know, you can put stuff into computers nowadays as well too, like we're saying. It's not like the process for that hasn't sped up, but, you know, you can almost literally make potentially your movie with AI. And, you know, I mean, just if you get really into the weeds and really creepy, like you could maybe even put the various actors into the different roles and be like, hey, see, this is exactly what it would look like, you know, with Brad Pitt in this movie. You know, this is exactly what Ocean's 16 was. Oh, chat. IT issues. Are we in? Testing? It says we're reconnecting. Let's see. Okay, we might as well just take a quick break right now anyways, and get our connection established, and see if the Lakers are able to do something in this fourth quarter, chat. Make no mistake, the Mavs are not giving up any room. They're still up by 13. Suns down by 9. We got to get back quick because this Suns-Hornets game is only got about 4:30 left, so make no mistake, stay tuned. We're going to be right back. Okay, Chad, I think we're good to go. Make no mistake, I have no idea why it reconnects. You think IT would have picked that up along the way with their, supposed background in production, but apparently nobody has a solution. I thought we were getting some of the Wi-Fi stuff fixed. And make no mistake, we've gotten upgrades. 2025, we're going to be running smoother than ever. But maybe a little later in the year, not as of right now. We're still putting the pieces together. But we're cooking. And I did see a stat as well, too, that said that Jimmy Carter, again, rest in peace, great run, all-time, is he like the, if we start calling him the LeBron of presidents, people are going to take that out of context. But the Brett Favre of presidents, the long career, extended career, 100 years. And that's really the comparison that we're making, just the span of the career. And the career spanned, the life, we should say, spanned so long that he was alive for all of the Nosferatu releases, chat. The man was born in 1924, and the first Nosferatu was released in 1929. And then the Warner Herzog, is that the guy that did the 79 version? And then we got the 2024 version, December 25th, right, of course, before Jimmy Carter stepped into glory, Chad. But 29 is crazy. I thought that first Nosferatu was released a little bit earlier than that. Should we do a fact check real quick on this stat? Yeah, see, Chad, it says 22 on the old Wikipedia. Music. Are we still in? I feel like this is not... You know what? Actually, this might not even be on our end now that I think about it. It could be a problem with the server. But either way, the show goes on, chat. Nothing can stop the Nosferatu research. Released in Vienna in 1930? Count Orlok's name was changed to Prince Wolkoff? Oh, this is just for some other version. Okay. And there was another version released in 81. So yeah, why does this stat say that Nosferatu was released June 1st of 1929? And you never know, what kind of delays it could have experienced with the goings-on of the time. But I think from pretty knowledgeable sources, it's saying 1922. Either way, to be alive for most of the Nosferatu film release time is pretty impressive. But this is one of the reasons why I was in on the Nosferatu remake, because originally when I heard about when I first saw, was it trailers? I think I found this on IMDb or something. You never know, Chad. Every now and then you do a little IMDb run on some people. And I even forget who the character was that, because it Skarsgård, it's got Willem Dafoe. There's a lot of people whose IMDb's you'd be on just on a given night. Make no mistake. Even Robert Eggers, even though, it's not the biggest history at this point. Who's the chick in this movie as well, too? Let's see. Is it Lily Rose Depp? Yeah, it is. So, make no mistake, we could have been on her IMDb as well. You never know. But when I found out about this Nosferatu movie, I just thought the first one, this 1922 one, was the only other one that existed. But then, of course, there is the 1979 version as well, too, which is a little bit more of a cult classic. And this one, I think, was trying to be released a little more mainstream. I could be wrong about the 79 one, but knowing that it was on Tubi when I saw it, that kind of screams cult classic to me. But, seeing that it was a 1922 film, it's like, this is actually the perfect time to remake a movie. Give it 100 years, and actually now it's time for an update. But, even an update on a 79, we're nearing 50-ish years for Nosferatu. So I think it's fine to get it back in and pause and do a remake. But according to some reliable movie-going sources that we trust, they said it was okay, chat. Said it was okay. Said beautiful film, well shot. Robert Eggers is always going to be in his filmmaker bag. But I guess we'll just have to go see the story for ourselves. We'll just go have to we'll have to see the plot. And I'm down to, because make no mistake, like the people that we were talking to are definitely more horror people, so they're probably approaching it being like, I kind of want a more gritty horror film. And if it turns into like some kind of gothic-y, romantic-y type thing, like I'm just down to see Lily Rose Depp and Bill Skarsgård and vampires. Like that's just a good time for me, chat. I could definitely buy into that type of movie, because I'm getting more into the idea of like horror movies and stuff, especially around Halloween, chat. Like, it's just the time, it makes sense. But some of like the real hardcore horror movie, once you start getting super gory and stuff, I kind of have to sit on the sideline for that one. I'm gonna do an Anthony Richardson on third down once the Saw franchise gets thrown on the TV, and I'm gonna have to sub myself out for that play. But some of the more classic horror movies, of course, their story is able to hold up, and the way like they're able to build anticipation, like the old Halloween movie, of course, is maybe the greatest horror movie of all time. And just the way it's able to hold anticipation and the conciseness of the story, but there's not really anything super violent. There's still violence in the movie, but it's not a movie where you feel like you're gonna have to like watch it with a bucket just because it's gonna get so brutal. But once you start really getting into it with horror movies, it just feels like a cheap way to scare the audience, in my opinion. I don't want to get on a soapbox and start saying I know how to make movies and like elevate above the horror genre for a second, but when you start whacking people's arms off and like really showing bones, pause. Make no mistake, there's some bones in horror movies that some of those scenes you can keep, but the ones where it's the the arms and the legs getting whacked off, pause again, kind of. But the super brutal ones, you can leave those out, in our opinion. Shout out to the Hornets, 115-104, taking down the win. But that's why the Nosferatu is good as well too. Classic vampire character where it's just kind of a story that it's just people dying of disease, chat. So, and a lot of it is them dragging the bodies out already, so you're not even really seeing people that sick. We just like to have a good time, chat. It is what it is. But as we toughen up a little bit, we'll be like, okay, I'll sit through it if I have to. But there's enough of the classic horrors and enough good stuff out there, and even like the Conjurings and stuff. Like, there's enough modern horror classics. It's not like every new horror movie is just a brutal sit through, but some of them can be. It can get to be a little bit too much at times. It's just like, okay, Nicolas Cage, you just have to pick the most violent scripts possible. Like, I want to see your performances. You're a great guy, but I don't want to have to take like a Pepto-Bismol for the stomach or something afterwards. I don't have to feel like I'm just in a cold sweat, just in shock, watching, chainsaw fights and things like that. And I don't know actually how brutal that one Nick Cage movie with the chainsaw ended up getting. But if there's a chainsaw in a movie, we're probably not going to watch it. Unless it's Get Out. Is there a chainsaw in Get Out? What does he get? Spoiler alert, I guess, chat. For the end. Will it say in the plot? Get Out might be the one exception for the chainsaw rule. Again, spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen the movie, because here is the plot for it. Make no mistake. Scrolling straight to the bottom. Spoiler alerts. Chris awakes. Yeah, at the end when he's in the basement, he gets the whole thing explained. Oh no, doesn't he get him with a statue? Maybe that's what it is. He wants to, meanwhile, tries to contact Chris. He tries to get attempted again. He bludgeons Jeremy, kills Dean and Missy, and finishes off Jeremy when he attacks again. Is Jeremy... That's the kid, right? Is that the son? And then, yeah, Dean's the dad. Jeremy is the brother. of the chick. And kills Dina Missy. So maybe there is. Maybe there is no chainsaw in Get Out, but he does get Jeremy pretty good, and he does. He gets stabbed through the hand. Like I say, he impales the dad, I think, with that statue. He gets the dad in some way, or is it an antler? I think that's what it is, chat. It's the antler. He gets him with the deer antler. Like, that's pretty brutal, of course, but I don't know. There's still kind of. Even Jordan Peele doesn't go like full out with that. I don't know. Sometimes an impaling. Pause. Whoa. I don't want to sound like we're, revealing this is going to be a TMI, but sometimes an impaling can be a little more sustainable to watch, chat. Oh, that could get taken out of context in a lot of ways, but you get what we're saying. Maybe getting stabbed through the hand's a little more bearable than having to cut your own foot off to get out of a situation, aka Saw 1. But Get Out, of course, is another horror-ish type classic movie that's always got to be in the rotation. But we'll see Nosferatu at some point. Who did this streaming for Nosferatu? Where is this gonna land? Production companies. Studio 8, distributed by Focus Features. Universal. So this could be on Peacock. So if Nosferatu lands on Peacock, I mean, make no mistake, it'll be the first thing we queue up once we see it on there. But will we get to go to the theatrical release? The other thing is Den of Thieves 2 hits theaters this weekend as well. So if we were going to go to the theaters this weekend, it's like, do we just have to give Nosferatu its due diligence and go see that first? Because we know that Den of Thieves, it'll still be there next week. We can get in and see it still, or even, go right off that turn on the weekend, $5 movie Tuesday. But I feel like Den of Thieves it's going to get the watch, chat. Ice Cube's son, what can I say? As much as I want to try to support vampires and get into the horror Halloween vibe, anytime O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler are going to be in a movie, it's going to be hard not to see that one. Oh, Grimes, make no mistake, the shots are still going up. Off the side of the shot clock. Whoa. Yeah, the Lakers better score off of that. Cut it to 9. That was going to be about as, ugly momentum-changing possession as you could have if you're the Lakers. 5:40 left. Again, down 9. Grimes. Oh, I thought that was going up again. Washington in the corner. Big three-pointer. Back up by 12. Is that a timeout by Redick? Without Doncic and Irving, chat. Yikes. Kind of embarrassing for the Lakers, if we're being honest. You kind of gotta... Whoa. We don't want to... Bet Rivers, chat? We're already signed up for enough sportsbook. We're probably already signed up on Bet Rivers as well, too. We just don't remember it. But, the Rockets as well, too, taking down the Wiz. That score goes final. Jalen Green with 29. He cooked the Lakers the other night as well. I believe he had 33, so he's been balling as of well. Van Fleet just continues to brick shots. I think, chat, at this point, Van Fleet might just be having one of those seasons. It is what it is. Cam Whitmore tonight, chat. Whoa. 17. Whoa. Too excited about Cam Whitmore. But you get a good look, chat. There you go. 135 to 112, just in case you couldn't read the score. 17 tonight for Cam Whitmore, 6 of 8 from the field. Our boy performing well. Is Van Fleet even He's not even shooting 30% from the field, I bet. Or from 3. I mean, from the field, of course, but... Oh, he is! He's 32% from 3. Steady Freddy. Steadily bricking shots all year. Oh, okay. He had a couple of good games to end off the year. He was trying to close out 2024 strong, but Apparently, his New Year's resolutions did not kick in, chat. Kicking off 2025 right away. 0 for 4, 1 for 3, 3 for 8. But 14 points a game this year. And, 37% for his career. 3-point shooting has not always been his main staple. And his overall field goal percentage as well, too. Like, he's at 40% for his career. He's not necessarily been the most efficient player, but this year has been definitely more brutal than the other ones, chat. But what has Jalen Green been up to as of late? Let's get a Jalen Green check. 20 a game for the season. But yeah, you see a little bit of a uptick here as of late. 27 as well versus Boston in a big game there. Looks like the shooting was efficient as well. So let's see, chat. Let's go is this 10 games or so? 9 games? Oh, we got to go a round number. Oh, unfortunately, it's going to bring his stats down. Okay, last 10, 45%, 33%, 22 points a game. Let's take that bad game out. Let's see where we get. 46, 35, 23. Okay, so he's been okay as of late, but I guess even if we stretch it to the last 3, chat, that 22 in Dallas is going to bring it down a little bit. 47, 35, 27 a game. So I guess just classic Jalen Green efficiency. But, the scoring is up as of the last 2. So if we factor in tonight's with that, he's up near 30 a game. Maybe this is the start of the run. Maybe we need to not panic and say Jalen Green is turning the corner. He is about to turn it into overdrive in 2025. Amen Thompson balling as well too. Year 2 of the 2023 class is now starting to take shape. 55% from the field is pretty good. I know the 3-point shooting is not what we would have thought. Is this actually his middle name, chat? Is Amen Thompson Elon Musk's kid? What's going on here, chat? I didn't realize that they had one of those maybe symbolic names. Let's see. Is there any history on his name? I just thought his name was Amen. And I guess Amen being short for something is not necessarily super shocking. Amen. I don't even know if I can pronounce this with the spelling, chat. I'm a terrible person. Exanless? I just made a noise. That's not even pronouncing his name. But XLNC is his middle name. Wow, chat. We need to bring him on so I can ask him what that means, because I'm going to, whatever the meaning is behind it, I'm going to copy it. I like it. Because whatever Elon Musk did, it just is random. But I don't know, something about the letters, especially the fact that they're all caps as well, too. I like an all caps middle name. That's cool. Even if I guess maybe if I can't talk the baby mama into just a couple of letters, maybe an all caps version of it. Christopher Reeves, whatever, but just Reeves, all caps. Michael B. Jordan Morrow. Can we do that? B. Jordan as the middle name? B. Jordan, all caps? Maybe we'll just take that part of it. We won't steal his entire name. We'll just stylistically maybe take a pointer or 2 away. But 7 for 8 from the field tonight. 20 points as of late. 23 in the last game. So, again, the Lakers defensively, make no mistake, chat, they're going to give up some good performances. But there are, winning a little bit more consistently as of late. They had a good stretch here to start the season. And they're the 2 seed, 3 seed in the Western Conference. So they've been playing all year up until this point. But 9-2 over this stretch, end of October, early November, and lost 3 games as of late. But there's a Boston game in there as well, Miami, Minnesota, losing to decent teams. OKC. But taking care of business tonight, I guess. Washington and LA. Bounce back teams, chat. Rebound teams, make no mistake. Svengoon with 26. Everybody back on track except for Van Fleet. And even Van Fleet, 12 assists, 7 for 15 from the field. Still getting to the rim a little bit. Even he's able to put up a good number. Is Cam Whitmore going to have to be added to our massive trade? Is this going to be a 4-team trade where we bring in Cam Whitmore, Seth Curry? Who was the other guy, chat? I'm already forgetting. 9 a game this year. Yikes, 25% from 3. We'll look the other way for right now. But I guess, there's been some injury as well, too. So, he was away from the team for a while, of course. But let's see. Last 8 games, 36%, 13 a game. It's going up. I just can throw this one in there. It's only 2 for 2. It's not going to really affect his percentages that much. But that's really just a couple of off nights where, one he's like 1 for 9 and then 0 for 3. But everything else, he's, kind of cooking. And tonight again, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. So I think it was Kurt Goldsberry that said that the Wizards are the team to watch. Like, if you want to see the best version of your team, watch them play the Wizards. So, like, you can see the Rockets tonight. I guess the best version of the Rockets is 135. Should we steal Kurt Goldsberry's bit real quick and just check that out? Shout out to Kurt Goldsberry. Putting in the work. One of the G's. But we are going to take an idea from him. It is what it is. Oh, Chad, you hate to see it. Or you love to see it if you're looking to get Cooper Flag. But let's see what some of the biggest performances they've given up this year. Oh, look at that. San Antonio. Wow. So these are the best teams in the league, chat. Kurt Goldsberry said it. The best versions of the teams are themselves when they play the Wizards. So right now, I mean, Memphis is what they're right there with Houston as the 2-3 seed battle in the Western Conference behind OKC. I guess the best version of Memphis is a little bit better than the best version of Houston. And they both gave up 112 as well. The Rockets were able to put up 135 on the Wizards 112. The Grizzlies put up 140. The Grizzlies were at home. The Spurs put up 139. However, they did give up 130. So maybe they are kind of as good as some of the other teams, but they will make it close. It will be a sketchy game. Was this like the Wembanyama 40? Oh, this was the Poole 42 game. Yeah. I think Wembanyama. Yeah, he had 50 in this one. So if we want to see the best version of Wembanyama offensively, it's 50 points. I don't even want to say it out loud, chat. 8 of 16 from 3. 16 3-pointers. I mean, he went 50%, scored 50 points. They beat the Wizards by 9. So I guess we can't be too mad. Champagny, 7. Castle at 10. Vassell at 17. 1 for 8. Okay. Not what you want to see necessarily, but the best version of the Spurs is Wemby just taking a bunch of threes and making them. That seems about right for this year, chat. Shout out Wemby. We love this season, but next year or after the All-Star break or the next game, we always want to see a little bit more post-play as well. Dallas is in the mix. We do have the Knicks and the Cavs over the Celtics. The Celtics at 122, the Cavs and the Knicks both at 135, 134. So I don't know if we want to take that too seriously, but those would be the other two teams at the top of the East. Mitchell with a 30. I mean, this would be the best version outside, I guess, Mobley, maybe with a little bit of a stinker performance. But Allen just dunking every basket, 10 for 10. Can we get a shot chart on that Allen performance? This is just the opposite of, the 3-point revolution. Oh, okay. There's a couple of a 6-footer in there. A couple of 6-footers. That classic little Jared Allen floater, but 10 for 10. Garland, 9 for 11. Mitchell, 11 for 18. Definitely the best version of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Knicks in that game. I guess the Knicks would be maybe the best version of the Knicks are the best team in the East. I mean, if Brunson's putting up 55, yeah, that would have been the game the other night. That would make sense, chat. Towns with 30. Bridges with 21. OG as well. So I guess there is, technically kind of an off night for some of these guys if we're going like the actual max peak version of whatever. But is it possible to get everybody playing well on one night? They even gave up 132. So, that Knicks defense getting sketchy. Champagny, you love to see a Champagny balling out. 31. 22 from Brogdon. Brogdon just decided to clock in that day. Dallas with 137. So very interesting, chat, if you take this as a power rankings. Who did the best against the Wizards? And just power rank that at the league. It's not a crazy power ranking. It's not crazy to us because, of course, we're biased to San Antonio. So turns out any power ranking that would end up with San Antonio up near the top, we're going to support that. Shout out to Dallas as well, too. Winning without Kyrie and Luka versus the Lakers. Ooh, LeBron. J.R. Smith? Does he just live in Dallas? Is he like... He's in street clothes, so I don't think he's coaching. Because, he would have like some kind of quarter zip or something on. He'd be in that coach garb. He'd have his coach uniform on. But he's not on the Lakers bench, is he? Because LeBron wouldn't be dapping him up like that after the end of the game. This is a, I'm seeing my guy J.R. Smith while I'm in Dallas type dap up. Busting out the secret handshake once in a while. Maybe they get to meet up afterwards. Make no mistake, the player meetup scene in Dallas, much stronger than Charlotte, I bet. Not to underrate Charlotte. Not to disrespect Charlotte. We're just playing the odds. That's our guess. Quentin Grimes getting the post-game interview. Shout out. But Dallas, of course, the 3 seed in our anti-Wizards power ranking. See, it might fall apart a little bit because the Pelicans are a top 10 team in the league, according to this. And we know that is not true. But peak version of the Pelicans, I guess peak Pelicans is interesting because you would still have to say, even with whatever version peak Zion is now, of course, unfortunately, you hate to say it, probably the peak version that Zion could get to now is not the peak version that he could get to at Duke or, even 18 months ago or whatever. Just who knows? But, peak Zion is still a pretty dang good player. Like, make no mistake. He's going to be impactful. But same with Irvin or Brandon Ingram. Who are we even talking about, Chad? Who's that guy that they want to trade? I guess turns out peak New Orleans Pelicans, Zion and Brandon Ingram don't even play. So maybe that just makes sense. McCollum with a 50-pointer. So they're just due to give up 50 to somebody. We need to remember that in the betting. Let's see, chat. Let's look at their next couple of games here. Can we get some money back that we've lost on the NFL? On a Wizards like 35, a Wizards 40? At this point, it might be priced in. Sixers, Bulls, Thunder, Timberwolves, Suns. I mean, if McCollum's going for 50 against the Wizards, literally anybody can go for 50. I think we can just pick a guy at this point and bet. Do they have odds for the next game? They usually do a pretty decent job of getting like a day or two out. Ooh, chat, would you look at that? Tomorrow, the Wizards. Oh, yeah, I guess we're looking at the schedule right now. I guess I just didn't realize that it was a back-to-back. Pause. They don't have any of the player point props yet. I guess back-to-back for the Wizards. Maybe they don't know, totally who's playing and all that jazz. But we'll keep an eye on it, chat, and see. Because I don't know how high the alt point spread will go up to. It'll go up to either 35 or 40. But, I mean, we'll still be able to get +4, +5 on somebody. Can't be too bad. Maxey? Is that too obvious? Do we just go like Caleb Martin and say somebody crazy is going to go off? Paycom Diate? Vote our rookie guy? Is he even on the team? Who's the rookie on the team? Ricky Council? Who's going to go off? Pause. Maybe we go for maybe a Kobe White 50? Because it was some guards as well, too. You know, you had, of course, Wemby, but you had Brunson, you had McCollum. You know, you had the backcourt players with some of the bigger performances. Of course, Edwards with the Timberwolves. Booker with Phoenix, we could keep an eye on, but Booker might be priced out interesting. So there you go, chat. I know we don't necessarily give out betting advice all the time because make no mistake, when it comes to betting, we don't have a lot of advice to give. We do what we can, but this will be our bet advice. At least just I guess our betting advice is never to actually bet, but it's like just take a look at this and maybe see if you like it. Take a look at the Wizards' alternate point spread, the team that they're playing against, and just look at the highest odds available. Now, the problem is sometimes, you know, like OKC, it's like, okay, if somebody's going to go off, it's probably going to be Shea, so they might not necessarily give you odds for like Ousmane Dieng to score 40 plus because they're just going to be like, this is just not going to happen. So you may only be limited to get like Shea at 40 plus, and then it's like, okay, 40 plus versus the Wizards, you might be looking at like minus 110, and then it's like, where's the value in that? But that's why we're saying just take a look and see. Because if you get some plus 4-1, plus 5-1, because even, you know, these guys are going for 50. Like we're saying, you might be able to get that bet might cap out at like 35-40. And the Rockets are actually, I think, a good team to have stayed away from. If we had forced it, pause, you know, maybe we would have forced it on on Jalen Green, who may be the most accepting guy of a forcing pause than of any player out there. But, you know, he would have been close, chat, 29. I mean, they had two guys with 25 plus with him and Sengun, 3 20-ers. So I think in some of those other ones, you know, we didn't have the 50 and 26 and 29 as the sidekick performances, obviously. Shout out to Aaron Holiday. 4 points, 1 for 3 from the field, but plus 31 in his 23 minutes. So must have got some run here in this third quarter when they really started to pull away, second and third quarters. Or just run, I guess. They probably just threw him in and left him in at the end of the game. But Sarr. Oh, yikes. 1 for 12. Poor Sarr. Corey Kispert with 23. Valanciunas. So the veterans, of course, for the Wizards when they play, not doing too bad. I guess at least offensively. Getting cooked on defense. Pat Baldwin Jr. with 4 minutes. Rashawn Holmes with 3. Anthony Gill with 4. Ooh. Bub Carrington, though, you know, might not necessarily be totally out of rookie of the year type conversation. Can we get a Carrington stat update? Shout out to Carlton Carrington, which now that we've seen Carlton, you know we're going to watch Fresh Prince tonight, depending on how, I guess, this next game goes. Remind me what the next game is, chat? Celtics Nuggets? Ooh, that really could go either way. The Celtics at minus 490, minus 10.5. I mean, we might just have to take Jokic at home on the alt spread. Minus 110. Come on, can we put the Wizards points up quickly so we can parlay that? If only we had time, chat. Maybe we could parlay the Wizards spread, though. That's not going to happen. They're going to get crushed by anybody. But Jokic at home in primetime versus the Celtics. Hopefully Jokic is playing. If Jokic is not playing, it would probably be like minus 20. But this could very easily be a Fresh Prince night type of game. Will this be a game where we're watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by the end of the night instead of the NBA game? Because it's a blowout. I guess we also got this potential Warriors Heat game as well. The Heat post Jimmy. Now that it seems like that is officially over, I don't see a world where, but who knows, chat? Maybe there's just really nowhere to go. It's an interesting trade market when you're looking at Jimmy Butler. Okay, Carrington's at 9 points a game so far. I guess not fully lighting it up, but I mean he's in the mix. Yeah, Wells is leading right now in total points. Shout out Jalen Wells. I'm not going to lie. The first time I watched him play, he had like a turnover and just like an off pass and lost the ball out of bounds. Just like was playing bad, but also it just looked like everything was going a little too fast for him. And it was like, oh, wow. They're just throwing this guy right in the fire, aren't they? The Grizzlies, they really know how to dig into some of this G League depth. But Jalen Wells is, maybe unlike Christie with the Lakers, they've stuck with Wells. He's starting to pay it off. But he's got kind of similar numbers. So maybe just the newness of Wells. We shouldn't just totally wipe off Christie like that. But we know Missy, of course, is surging up the polls. Connect and McCain with their strong starts this season. Castle is a guy that, you're not going to hear us not make the case for him for Rookie of the Year. But we are, of course, always searching for value. Castle is 12-1 right now. Oh, chat. I do have some betting advice. Never mind. I know I said I don't give out advice, but Castle at 12-1. The man will make a run. If Edie is plus 150 and leading the class, I mean, shout out. These are good numbers. 54% from the field, 39% from three. I mean, Zach Edey, who would have thought? 10-7? Oh, that's Tristan Da Silva is 9-4. Okay, yeah. Zach Edey, 10-7. In only 21 minutes as well, too. So if we go a plus 36. Yeah, per 36, Zach Edey, 17-13 on 60% shooting. I mean, the man's balling out. So it's not that he's not deserving of the position at the number one spot for Rookie of the Year odds. But if Sarr is right behind him at number 2, I mean, come on, chat. That seems like it might be wide open. Seems like there's odds for somebody to make a run. Castle at 12-1 seems like a great bet. But Carlton at 75-1, that's definitely the long shot. Because the other guys, there's really only a handful of guys. And I guess there's only a handful of guys getting consistent rotation minutes like that. But, you got Edey, Sarr, Missy, Wells, Castle, Reacher, Connect, Da Silva, Carrington, Dunn, Klingon, and Jacoby Walter. So Walter and Klingon at 150-1 feels like, again, they're just on the board because they're seeing some good minutes at this point. But, I mean, you can see as well, too, I guess, Mogbo for Toronto. I guess everybody on Toronto is getting minutes. Keshawn George, of course, getting a little more run. For the Wizards, he's not on the Knicks. He got traded. But those are those low win team guys as well, too. Sheed playing more minutes than Edey this year? Is this Pistons? Oh, he is also on the Raptors as well, too. So I guess if you're not on it's the non-Raptors guys that are playing. They've got Jacoby Walter as the number 1 Toronto player. And he was actually, I guess, drafted by, I guess so was Mogbo on that night. But Sheed was traded for. Walter, 40% from the field. I like Walter as well, too. 8 points a game. I mean, similar points per game, I guess, compared to Carrington. But Carrington, at least a little bit of an uptick with the overall shooting. The three-point shooting, at least anyways, is a little more serviceable. And there's, he's a 300, 140, 130 guy versus Jacoby Walter is 174, 50, and 30. So, I mean, Carrington has twice as better odds at 75-1 versus 150. But I guess just Walter being on the board. Buzelis starting to get a little more rotation as well for the Bulls. Let's see what he's done recently. 12 a game, 14, 10, 13. So, yeah, he's getting out there. The man's playing. 12 a game for the season. And, yeah, I mean, there's a 21 in here. So, going back December through now, he's at least up to 15 a game. A little uptick anyways. So, I mean, he would need to really up the production as well, too. Become, you'd have to have the probably the best stretch of anybody in this draft anyways. But I honestly don't think, if you're looking at the FanDuel odds right now, again, I think Edie is plus 150 and Carrington is plus 175. But I think every name from Edie to Carrington is not necessarily off the board at this spot. And we're nearing the halfway season, so we're getting kind of established. But again, if somebody has a really crazy 15, 12 game run, even at the end of the season, maybe when it's a little less impactful, if you want to start making that case for Rookie of the Year, I think it could swing the whole thing. I think somebody's definitely a good stretch away from really moving up into the territory. Again, especially, you think about a guy like Carrington, about the run that he could get on the Wizards, getting shots near the end of the season, especially as they really might start shutting down some of the veteran guys once we get past the halfway point in those last couple of months. And Carrington's good. Carrington's had some heat check games if he really goes on a run. Oh, speaking of which, LaMelo Ball, 32, 10, and 7 tonight. Shout out. I was get a little field goal check here, stat. Let's see. And Brandon Miller as well, too. And you see Dunn in the starting lineup, even though the Suns lost. I mean, he was plus 6. Plumlee in the starting lineup over Nurkic. Yeah, they just went ahead and made that move straight up. Booker only somehow plus 2 with the 39-point performance. Durant plus 1. But I guess, minutes played as well, too, with some of the bench guys is not helping. But look at Beal tonight, Chad. Again, plus 21. Nurkic minus 22. Or sorry, Beal minus 21. Nurkic minus 22. Grayson Allen minus 17. Those defensive minutes are just not going to be enough, even though Durant is playing. I mean, Durant could have, of course, had a lead performance tonight, shot a little better from 3, but 26. I mean, you're going to get friggin' 60 points from Durant and Booker, 65 almost, and you're not going to win the game. You're kind of screwed from the guys that are around you. It's just what it is, They're kind of doing their part there. But again, even Wells at plus 750. That's really interesting because as the minutes could get more important, and Edie will be important for this team rotationally from a matchup standpoint. But Wells could be a final 5 guy if you think they go Jackson, maybe Small at the 5, and go with size and wings around them. Like, you could definitely see Wells still out there in those situations and not have to sacrifice versatility. But again, you bring in Edie as well, too, to maybe also have some of that size next to Jackson and maybe those minutes. But, Richer at 30-1, he was the number 1 overall pick. And again, he's second right now in the class in scoring. So if his shooting goes up, that could be interesting. McCain is still first in points per game. And McCain right now is currently at... Did McCain get out for the... Is there an injury for McCain? Yeah, that's right. He did get hurt. So that's why he's off the board, unfortunately. But I guess Sarr is leading in points per game. But, yeah, Wells is third. And Richer is right in the mix. Castle as well, too. Connect, if the Lakers continue to keep winning and, trades, he becomes more important. Who knows? But I think all these guys, Edie, Sarr, Missy, Wells, Castle, Richer, Connect. I would even say De Silva as well, too, if he keeps cooking. And same with Carrington. All those guys have a chance to win. Dunn, Klingon, and Jacoby Walter, I mean, respect to those guys. I think they all have a chance to, continue to really improve and really have great rookie seasons. And especially, Dunn, he can continue to really impact that Suns starting lineup. Like, he could be really, really valuable and end up jumping into, like, an all-rookie conversation. But he's just not going to have the offense to win Rookie of the Year, unfortunately. It's just what it is. And that's not counting out his offensive development potential as well. But just year one right now, he's not going to probably put up those numbers to compete. He is, 44%, 6 points again. I guess, again, if he just gets hot from 3 for some reason, not to discount him. But it just doesn't seem it. Klingon from the Blazers, are the Blazers and the Raptors just in general. And I guess we could make that case for the Wizards with Carrington. But Walter, I guess, would really have to turn a corner. And Klingon just feels a little too reliant on other guys for his production in terms of right now and in terms of having to win like that Rookie of the Year compared to somebody else. Where if you were going to match him up against like a lead guard like Wells or somebody, I guess, nobody's got a ton of responsibility. Maybe that's why Carrington could. That is why he could be interesting in this at 75-1. Is just because you think of the volume that he could get for shots down the stretch could be crazy. But like we're saying, De Silva, 40-1. The Magic team continues to stay unhealthy and keep winning, and if his production continues to go up, maybe him at 40-1. I honestly would say I would flip him and Carrington's odds, just because I think Carrington could give you a little more offensively than De Silva. But that team is better, and he's really close for the season anyways. He's literally 1 point less overall in less minutes. So maybe I should bite my tongue. But look at these Rookie of the Year odds. There's some advice for you. Wizards, alternate point spread against the opponent. And I guess maybe even the rebounds, all that stuff. Just look at those stats. See if you can get some juiced odds in any of those potential matchups. And then look at the Rookie of the Year odds. And if there's a guy that you like with some of these long shots, I would fully endorse spending your money on a well thought out bet on one of these Rookie of the Year odd guys, because there is definitely some very, very interesting odds. Most improved player. This is a fun team. Cade, Jalen Johnson, Tyler Hero, Evan Mobley, and Norm Powell. Dyson Daniels is the sixth man. Let's go Cade, Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and Mobley. It's a fun team, chat. And Powell. Wemby at 15-1 is 7 for most improved. I mean, Wemby was pretty good last year. And I think this is a pretty, I don't want to say expected step up, but also, we thought the man would be improving. But Celtic Nuggets, look at that. First offensive possessions, and the Nuggets are up 3-2. So who knows, chat? I guess stay tuned to the game to find out if we'll be watching Fresh Prince or not later. I bet, it's Inside the NBA on TNT. They're back. They're cooking. So Tuesday night, probably they're going to win the day. It's close. Will Smith and Carlton versus Kenny and Chuck. I mean, that's just the comedy level of those guys. I mean, Fresh Prince is one of the few shows that we might actually be like, well, if we're talking about what would we rather watch, what we'd rather have between Inside the NBA and just normal TV, Fresh Prince might be one that I have to take a long thought about, but I don't know. At the end of the day, basketball might win the day. So it'll just be Inside the NBA. You know what it is, chat. But we will be back later in the week. Of course, schedule for 2024, we will not be going anywhere. So make sure to follow our socials as well, too. I know that the time on TikTok is winding down. Make no mistake, chat. There's only a few days left to follow us on the TikTok, but we're over there. We're on Instagram as well, too. You can stay subscribed to the YouTube channels. The podcast feed is going to be cooking. We're Rem and Sam on all the podcast feeds. And I know Apple doesn't have the videos yet, but Spotify's had the videos. You can watch the videos over there as well, too. So there's, a couple of different options. But 2025 is going to be fun, chat. We're kicking around some ideas. There's some, there's always room to improve. There's always new lanes and new ways to attack, new things to, new venues to conquer. So we're always looking to add stuff to our game. I guess it's honestly just personal enjoyment as well, too, chat. Like, you want to be the best, like as a basketball player, the more skills you have, the better. But it's just, it's also just more fun to have more skills. And I'm about as degenerate of a basketball person as anybody. Like, I could go out to the park, go out by myself, literally have to get, every single rebound and cut like the amount of actual jump shots you get up in half. And just, I could take the same stationary jump shot from like the same spot over and over again for hours and just have a good, even especially, Chad, if there's a speaker, if it's like good kid, Mad City and a rim, like that. I guess that could go a lot of ways. But if it's a good kid, Mad City and a pickup court, like I could listen to that album a couple of times and just shoot from the same exact spot, pause, and just not get bored. But you know what else is fun? A wide skill set, a lot of moves, a lot of different things in your bag to go to. I think that applies for everything. Deep bags are always good, Chad. We're pro deep bags on the Rim and Sam pod. Even if it's around the eyes, because that means you're working hard, right? Bill Belichick. No days off. And Bill Belichick is in a no days off state as well right now, too. He is on the recruiting trail. We've seen the pictures with him and the recruits at North Carolina. The man is putting in the work. And, I guess it was going to be like, what type of recruiting, what type of traveling is he going to be doing at North Carolina? But, I mean, it's Bill Belichick, people. Why did we even doubt Bill Belichick? This is not going to be... If it is Belichick's Phil Jackson years, I don't think it's going to be because of a lack of effort. I think it's going to be because of some other maybe fundamental things that could be potentially off, like maybe just immediately going out and hiring your son again as defensive coordinator. And that's not to just, put a bow on this by, just taking down Stephen Belichick at the end of the pod. But, was Stephen Belichick... Like, what was the he's at Washington. He's a defensive coordinator. He's doing a great job. Again, all this stuff. But it's just the history of Belichick maybe leaning in toward his guys. And is he viewing the landscape the right way when it comes to building a staff like this? Westbrook in the corner for 3. He's been big since, of course, being inserted into the starting lineup. Pause. That's crazy. He's been huge. Huge is crazy. He's been a major piece for the rotation. A major contributor. There we go. He's been a major contributor since being put into the starting lineup. But, I'm sure it's gotten him excited. I'm sure he's gotten a little huge since that move as well, too. Whoa! But, anyways, I forget what we were even saying before that chat. Yikes. Make no mistake. A pause comment will wipe your memory. That's for sure. Jamal Murray, maybe we could see him finally get going. You'd love to see it for Nuggets fans. And just for Jokic's enjoyment. Just for Jokic's sanity. Is Jokic actually playing? I just looked over just now, and we're like 7 minutes in. And he's not on the court. And, of course, they're only going to give us on-the-court guys as of right now. The suspense chat. Oh, no Jokic tonight. Oh, man. Oh, we're definitely going to be watching Fresh Prince. This game can get ugly, but you never know. Doncic and Luka the Mavs didn't even need them to beat the Lakers. So, the Nuggets, do they not need Jokic? I think it might be a little different. I think they might be a little bit of a different situation for as good as Doncic is. Oh, Tatum, tee him up. Hanging on the rim too long after that dunk. 16-12. Michael Malone is not going to let this get out of hand quickly. So, yeah, they're really going to need Jamal Murray tonight, chat. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. 1 for 2. Okay, Westbrook. You know what? A good Westbrook performance, just like a vintage Westbrook running around, dishing passes, being athletic, flying around. This could be fun to watch. I know maybe it could get ugly, but I'm down to watch a fun Westbrook game where he's in control and not have to worry about getting in Jokic's way. We don't expect the Nuggets to do much. I mean, doesn't that show you where the Nuggets are at, where -10 on that line, and I thought that Jokic might be playing? Let's see if we can compare it to like a line that they had earlier. And did they play the Celtics already this year? Because I'm sure, as you would assume, Jokic is worth like 10 points. And if Jokic is in the game, you always think that the Nuggets would have a chance against anybody. But even if Jokic is playing, I would be like, what, -8.5, And that's maybe too disrespectful for the Nuggets in just a matchup basis, especially Jokic matched up specifically against Boston. This might be their first stretch here, chat. January, it's going to be a fun month. we've been looking at these matchups. We've been getting a lot of these high-level teams, high-level players. Like we said, the Thunder are on their run right now. So, yeah, January and March for the Celtics versus the Nuggets. But they played the Cavs. Okay, this last game against the Cavs, December 27th, was Jokic playing. Jokic played, put up a 27, 13, and 14 just casually. Just so casual for Jokic that it's like, is Jokic even out there that night? That's how casual these Jokic triple-doubles are. It's literally, I don't even want to say unforgettable, chat, but that's kind of, Jokic has made the triple-double unforgettable with just how casual he's able to put it up. Murray with a good performance as well, 27 on 50% shooting. Does it have the odds? I thought they would have the odds. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Oh, wait, I think I can look them up over here real quick. Because Cleveland, of course, record-wise, we know that they're on par with Boston as maybe a regular season team. I could see them getting similar respect in the line. And they did win the game by 14 points. And this is in Denver like tonight's game. Oh, so that game was, yeah, Denver Denver plus 3.5, Cleveland minus 3.5. So, yeah, there you go. Jokic may be worth about 7 points. Totally fair. I think worth even more. But I'm just saying that if the Nuggets were favored by a large if the Celtics were favored by a large amount versus the Nuggets, I would not be surprised whatsoever. But we will see what happens, of course, in the rest of this game. And we will be back later this week with the playoffs about to start, chat. The playoffs are about to start. And the Broncos made the playoffs and the Colts did not. So at least for once in a long time, we can sit back and root for the mistress team in a real way. Because, I mean, this is the first, I think, playoff appearance that the Broncos have had since the Super Bowl win, if I'm not mistaken, in 2016. It's crazy that it's been almost a decade since the last Broncos playoff appearance, but that's how sneaky desperate it's gotten. Oh, excuse us, over in Denver. Again, we, had the fling for a couple of weeks when Manning was on that team, so they always hold a special place in our heart. And with no Indy, with Mahomes kind of entering a villain status of nobody kind of want to see him three-peat, and I kind of want to see him three-peat secretly. But, should we do that? A playoff power rankings? Do you guys want to power rank storylines that we care about for the playoffs? That sounds like a fun time, chat. Shout out. As we audition for Joy Taylor to take over our show, Joy Taylor, come host our... Whoa, pause. Appear on the pod and host our playoff storylines we want to see happen ranking. Maybe we'll do that this week. Playoff top 10. I don't know. Joy Taylor, just slide in our DMs. We'll think of a bit. We'll do something fun on the pod over Zoom. Make no mistake. Professionally, it'll all be a fun time. But shout out to everybody. Hopefully, like we said, everything gets resolved. And everything is okay. If, of course, with that type of impact as well, too, if things can even get back to okay, we hopefully hope that they all can. And we hope that we're able to be entertained by this Nuggets-Celtics game. So we can at least stay awake a little bit for Inside the NBA. We'll do our best. But anyways, that'll do it for us tonight, chat. Like we said, we'll be back later in the week. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned, for watching. We love the community over here on the Rem and Sam pod. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for sticking around and following so far. So